opportunity. I'm facing my destiny. It's time to try my broken wings, see if my voice can sing. Stop the flames from taking over like a barren scenery. I can't escape my memory. I wanna stay memoryless. It hurts too much if I address. I wanna be the one I was and the one I could have been.
Got a new album that is just about to come out, and
Yep.
it's called Eternal Snapshots. And it is that. While each song is sort of streams into the next one, um, each is a different snapshot. Is it a snapshot of you and your life, of where you are at a particular moment, or are you talking about somebody else?
I'm talking about somebody else. This is when I came up, first of all, this is album number 6.
Yes.
And I said to myself, we have to come up with something new. We can't do the same. I mean, I'm not saying we're repeating ourselves. I think every album actually has a quite clear identity of their own. But I felt we needed to bring something new to the table this time. So number one, I'm going to try to write lyrics in a way I haven't written before. I'm going to avoid the subjects I normally write about. And what can I come up with? So I said to myself, well, I'm going to try to do some kind of a concept album. But it doesn't necessarily have a story. It's more like we making like snapshots into these people's lives to see to see parts of their lives, and to see, let me put it like this, it's like me raising questions, but why do we become who we are?
Yes.
And that is a big question, and to make it work for me to write this kind of lyrics, I focused on 2 individuals. One woman or young girl has been brought up in had a turbulent life, brought up in a, what do you say, can't find the word right now, just like in a dysfunctional family.
Sure,
And a young boy becoming a man. He's had a happy and caring, loving family and great upbringing, and to see what this totally different situations does to people, and we are getting snapshots from their lives. So that's why eternal snapshots, and why eternal, you might wonder. It's because it happens all the time. New lives are born every second. So this is an ongoing thing that never stops. So that's why the title Eternal Snapshots. If it makes any sense, I'm not sure, but
No, it absolutely does. What struck me in listening to it and going over the lyrics is that while you mentioned you've got 2 characters in particular that you were thinking of as you were writing all this, some of those questions that are being raised could be posed by anybody. I don't care what their upbringing is. They still later on in life might be questioning, where did I come from? What am I doing? Do I deserve to be here? That sort of thing.
yeah, and I mean that is the way it's meant to be. Also, I just picture those 2 people just to what do you say, to make it real, to make. And I also, as I think I told you, or maybe I wrote it to you, that it's no coincidence you hear seagulls and waves and things on the album. I put them in a small coast town just to make them real when I wrote about them. But it's up to everyone to they can create their images or visions themselves, but who it can be about themselves, it can be about their neighbor, it can be about anyone. It doesn't necessarily have to be the ones I was thinking about. It can be about anyone, actually.
Sure. I was reading a review of the album, and I can't recall what publication it was. It was a very good review that got into the lyrics and the music, and the reviewer actually was referring to one of the songs where it talks a little bit about being manic depressive and saying, I feel this same sort of thing with anxiety and depression and having to deal with that sort of thing. So you've touched on some things that really go out into the audience and may hit them in ways that you might not have foreseen when you were writing them.
Yeah, that's right. I just kind of I just stuck to what I was up to. I didn't really think about if it might somehow affect people or anything. I just I stuck to the plan and wrote what I set out to write about. So if it's if people recognize the lyrics somehow or feel that they can connect to them, that's just a wonderful thing. And if it can help them, even better. That's even better, of course.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It also struck me that this is an album, especially lyrically, that a 60-year-old could write. A 30-year-old might not be able to do it because they don't have the experience or the vision of life.
And definitely not a 20-year-old like when I read 40 years ago when we released the first album I released. No, you're right. I think that is correct. It helps being of a mature age to write about things like this. Otherwise, you don't have. I guess you don't. I mean, there's probably people. I mean, everyone. I think it's a personal thing, and people might be 25 and can write super mature about things, but it helps if you're a 60-year-old. That's true. Yeah. Let's put it like that.
We should mention that while it has your name on it, this is a band.
Yeah.
This is a good, cohesive band, not only from the standpoint of playing together, but in contributing. You've got band members who are contributing to the lyrics, to the music. So a lot of people are putting their hands in the process of putting it together.
Absolutely, and I'm so grateful. On this album we have 4 songwriters, so that's incredible. I'd say maybe not very unusual, but it's not every band that has 4 guys contributing with music, and I'm very grateful because it gives more gives more color to the music. Because when Sampo writes, he has, what do you say, he writes in a very different way compared to me, and the same goes for Ola. And Kjell, I don't even know what he writes. And this album is like a Bach inspired short little Hammond organ track, but I mean, all in all, it contributes to a great band feeling, and that's actually we've been a band from day one, even though it has my name on it. But in all interviews and on stage, we really are a band. And okay, the first albums I wrote all the music, and I even told the guys more or less what to play. But from our third album titled HFMC, for each and every album we have kind of more and more incorporated the band members in the songwriting, in arrangements, and this time I told the guys to just get out there, play as much as you want. I mean, give me 10 different guitars and 5 different keyboards, and then I was trying to make them really go for it this time.
Yeah.
And then it's up to me, who's producing the album, to put it all together. Okay, it's more work, because you have much more to listen to and much more to select what will work and so on. But it's worth it, and it makes an album more vibrant and more alive when all the guys are, really, really on the edge, trying to contribute the best way they can. So, and I think you can hear it on the album that the guys are, it's maybe I will not say on fire, because it is, after all, an album. It's very hard to be on fire when you're recording an album, but they're really doing a great job. I have to say that.
Was this a COVID album? Is this one of those things where you had to do a lot of the work while you were still isolated from each other, or what?
Yeah. When we started the recording, it was pretty much, what do you say, when COVID wasn't over, but it was starting to get better, at least. But I think it might be that the COVID situation kind of influenced the lyrics. I don't know. I actually haven't thought about that. I read it the other day that someone thought it might be that way. It could be, I don't know, but when we went up, because the studio, Nevo Studios, is placed like 4, maybe 5 hours north from where I am right now, and we were all staying in the studio when we recorded the backing tracks, all 5 in the band, plus the sound engineer Petrus Königsson, and our, what do you say, manager, or whatever. I consider him to be a friend, and a helpful friend, but he's doing some management as well. Johnny, so we were 7 guys, living, sleeping, working, eating, doing everything in the studio for 4 days while we recorded the backing tracks. And then all the vocals and overdubs and acoustic guitars and synthesizers were done in different home studios, and it was mixed in Petra's own studio, Little Red Cottage, later on. So, but when we were up there, it was pretty much. Am I lying now? I can't really. Maybe let's forget about it. I'm not sure, but it must have been close to the COVID situation, but I guess it was more or less over when we went up there to record.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure how to phrase this with you, because some people, some musicians take it personally if a listener or reviewer suggests, I can hear some influences in
Yeah.
this particular piece. I give you for example.
Yep.
No Messiah, I can hear some Yes-like things, maybe from the drama period. I can hear, well, Blind Dog, if that's not Deep Purple with that everything else, that's what I hear. I hear some influences, but not that it takes away from your sound, because I've listened to all 6 of your albums, and you definitely have created a sound, but you're not embarrassed to show some of your influences in the process.
No, and you are absolutely right. Definitely about Blind Dog and Deep Purple. It's heavily, I would say, even heavily influenced by Deep Purple. In one of the reviews, they mentioned actually Yes and drama regarding No Messiah, but I totally can hear the Yes influences in the vocal start of the song, but after that I'm not sure. But it's Ola wrote the music for that one, and I wrote the lyrics and the melodies. So it's a collaboration, and but I don't think he had Yes in mind when he wrote it. Actually, I don't know. but I get it. I mean, you're the second guy mentioning it, so it must be something in there to some kind of truth to it, I say.
Perhaps, but that's just what I heard in terms of especially those intro vocals. I can, it's some
Yeah.
other things, I can hear some Genesis and a few other things, but it definitely is you. You're still in very strong voice too, which at the age of 60, there are some people whose voices are pretty shot. You're pretty strong right now. You seem to be in.
Yeah, I mean, we did a 22-date tour in October, and I was really, because that was kind of, now I'm going to go, this will be a test for the voice. Will I make it, or will my voice be gone after 10 shows? But no, it worked very well, and I have like a technique that I use and I've been using for a very, very long time. That's number one. When I'm on tour, I try to stay away from alcohol, and I don't smoke. I did smoke for 1 week when I was 12 years old. I haven't done it since. And I try to be fairly healthy. So, and I think all those things helps.
Mm-hmm.
And I know exactly what you're saying. There's a lot of guys out there, especially tenors. I'm a tenor, and I'm a natural tenor. Some of those that were starting in the 80s, like screaming, it was not their normal range. So I think some of those guys, they blew their voice thanks to that fact that it wasn't their normal range, and they were like using the wrong technique and screaming. And you can do it for 1 tour, maybe 2 tours. After a while, it takes its toll on the vocal cords, so to speak.
Yeah, it absolutely does. You can certainly hear it on some people that are recording that maybe you shouldn't be recording at this point. You've put out the first single, and that's once in a lifetime. And that's video. Where'd the video concept come from?
Oh, you have to ask Sampo, the bass player, about that. He did the video, and the thing is, a lot of things happened when I was away with the Flower Kings on Cruise to the Edge.
Yes.
The artwork, the video. I mean, there were lots of things going on while I was away, but I mean, we recorded we filmed what later became the video to Once in a Lifetime at a rehearsal place, just with a green screen. And then I know Sampo is great at I think he works in Final Cut or whatever it's called, and he's good at it. So he kind of, what do you say, he's like a magician. He makes great things out of nothing. I don't know how I do it, but it looks good to me, so I'm happy with it.
Now, Sampo is new to the band, isn't he?
Yeah. I would say this is his second album, and our former bass player Thompson, he decided to quit the band when we did the last show after the Parallel Life album. This is in November, before the pandemic, so it must have been November in 2019 then. Mm-hmm. And so all of a sudden we were out of a bass player, and as a matter of fact, Thompson still is, and we were friends in school, and we've been playing together to and from since we were 14 years old, more or less, playing in youth clubs and school dances and all this. So he's my closest friend, actually. So it was not a shock, because I could feel that he was not up for it anymore. But it was very sad when he left. And he was a guy that recommended Sampo. So, and I had a quick chat with Sampo, and he came over. He lives in Stockholm. He came over to Uppsala to our rehearsal studio, and we played. And it was just like he suited the band perfectly. And Thompson is more like a steady, or like a rock and roll bass player, while Sampo is more melodic and more. I think he actually is a really, really good asset to the band. And not only that, he plays pedal steel as well, which is really cool to be able to have on some of the songs, because it's an instrument you don't hear that often in progressive rock. So it's really cool that we can use him for that as well. And he's a nice guy. So I'm really happy with where the band are today.
Good. You can hear him in Searching for the Dark. As a matter of fact, there's a really nice pedal steel.
Yeah.
That adds to the, I guess, spacey feel of the song.
Yeah. It does. And you add some, like spacey delays and stuff on it. You really get this cosmic kind of, I don't know, weird kind of sound, but really cool at the same time.
Yeah. I have been meaning to ask this of somebody in a Swedish band, and I haven't talked to anybody in a Swedish band since the idea came to mind. So I'll ask you.
Yeah.
So many Swedish bands, even in different genres, and I can think of a whole ton of them right now, everywhere from you guys in the Flower Kings to Ghost to Opeth there is a sense of melody there that is extremely strong and perhaps sets them apart from a lot of people that would be in the same genre, quote unquote. Is there something in Sweden influential that makes the groups more melodic in their presentation?
First of all, you are absolutely right in your analysis. It might be that even though our folk music is very melancholy and very often in minor, it's very melodic, very, very melodic. And the truth is that apart from England and the Hamburg years, the first country that Beatles broke, where they had a breakthrough, was Sweden. So since day one, we've been soaking up pop and rock, and all the big bands, all of them has very early in their career had Sweden as a big country, which then has influenced our own creative sparks over here. So, and as a matter, we have lots of, look back at it, it's ABBA, it's Roxette, it's Ace of Base, it's Max Martin and all his hits with Katy Perry and Pink and Ariana Grande, and I think he even writes for Taylor Swift. I read the other day that Sweden is the number one country in the world that has most hits per capita, worldwide hits, that is, per capita, more than United States, more than England, more than Germany, more than wherever. So there is, and I think it's because we've always had, you can music lessons are for free, or at least they used to be when I grew up. So everyone could play if they wanted. For instance, my mom forced me to play. Before you could play what you really wanted to play, you had to play wooden flute for a year.
Yes.
So I started with wooden flute and I hated it. because I wanted to play drums or guitar. But then when I started to play, I did play both drums and guitar. But this was at an age that I was playing football and ice hockey and all this, but it did. After a while, I kind of understood that, well, music is my thing, and I started at a very young age. I think I formed my first band when I was 12, and at 14, 15, I was, as I said, playing in youth clubs all over the area, and different school dances around Uppsala, and maybe 1 hour north of Uppsala, and like rock festivals in the summer. We were just kids, and the drummer's dad and my dad, they drove us with a small little trailer to all the gigs, and it was really cool. So that it was a good start, and I think I learned a lot. Yeah. A lot of those, all those things combined, I'm sure, has made me who I am today, actually, as a musician, and that I can benefit from, actually. So, but I think that is the main part, is that, and I think it might not be for free today, but it's at least so cheap that everyone who wants to learn how to play guitar or trumpet or whatever, they can do it. So, and we've also, I think music in general has been considered an important thing over here since as long as I've been alive, at least. So I think all those things combined has made Sweden to the music country it is today, because we are, and when it comes to exporting music, we are the third country after United States and England, and we have 11 million people here, which is quite extraordinary if you think about it. All right, enough bragging of Sweden, but there you have it, I think.
No, that's fine. I was going to ask you, because you were 10 years old in 74 when ABBA won the Eurovision contest.
Yeah.
Were you listening to ABBA when you were 10?
You couldn't avoid listening to them. They were all over the place, and all the girls in my class or in school loved ABBA. The boys, they were not that vocal about it. They loved them, but they secretly loved ABBA. It was more like Sweet and Slade and the Glad T-Rex and David Bowie, and of course the hard rock bands Zeppelin and Deep Purple and Black Sabbath, and those bands. Status Quo was very big back then. I remember the boogie rock band. So that's what and we have some Swedish pop bands and pop artists as well that was huge. Not only ABBA, but that was because ABBA was the first band that really made it worldwide, so to speak. But we had some big artists that were, I would say, big in Scandinavia. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, I have to admit to you, I'm a bit older than you are, and I was in college in 1974, and I was going to see bands like Kansas and Deep Purple and Black Sabbath and all these.
Yeah.
But in the back of my record collection, there was an ABBA album that most of my friends didn't know about because I didn't want to quite give myself away as being that much of a pop fan, but they had their influence. And it seems to me, as you suggested, they are part of a tradition that has passed on that concept of melody and harmony on generations.
And if one listens very careful, maybe, since you're not brought up in Sweden, it's very hard for you to hear, but in those melodies, you hear lots of Swedish folk music, which gives a kind of a melancholy touch to it that American bands or British bands doesn't have. So I think that's one of the reasons they kind of stand on their own, really. And at first, they were, I guess, they were considered just another pop band, but nowadays ABBA are among the biggest artists, or their back catalog is considered to be one of the most what do you say, quality pop out there, you know, and they just sold like I don't know how many 100 millions. They sold extremely much records. So they were really, what do you say, paving the way for a lot of other bands lately. So yeah.
Well, I hear that melancholy that you mentioned. There's certainly melancholy in this latest album. The Snapshots, it's not out and out depressed. It's just sort of sitting there thinking about life and is it what I wanted it to be? And there's a melancholy, that kind of theme musically as well.
And I try to when I my own songs, I really try to make the melodies as beautiful as I just possibly could, because if you think of it, the first, I mean, All I Wanted to Be Part 1 and Part 2 is the chorus is like I want it to sound like a classic, what do you say, classical tune almost. Now it's made within the what we can do as a rock band, but I wanted the melody and the arrangement around the melody, I wanted to be as much, but not at a symphony orchestra, but a bit of that kind of feel to it, if you get what I mean.
I referred to it as being majestic in my
that's a suitable word. Yeah, at least the end part. Yeah, the
end part certainly.
The what do you say, when it's more or less as the when we're getting close to the end. Yeah, that's very majestic, and also the start of the whole album when with the instrumental piece before the voice comes in. It's very, very majestic. Probably the most majestic thing we've released so far, I'd say.
Yeah, melancholy majestic. You've started.
Yeah, melancholy majestic. That's it.
So what happens once the record is released? You're going to do some live gigs or what?
I mean, we would love to play as much as possible, but it's really, really rough out there. And we have some shows coming up. We are going to play Midsummer's Prog in the Netherlands now, 29th of June, which we are very much looking forward to. And then a couple of weeks after that, we're going to open up for talking about old hard rock bands. We're going to open up for Nazareth in our hometown, Uppsala. And then we're going to play a festival in Norway, outside Kristiansand. I've never been there, but it's supposed to be a great festival, more a rock festival than a progressive rock festival. And then we have a still secret gig, which we look forward to very much to do, that I won't tell you about now. That will happen on the 2nd of November. And then we had high hopes for hooking up with another band and tour in October, November, but we couldn't make it happen, and it's a shame. We were on the verge of we were almost there, but no, it didn't happen. But now we are looking into let's see, in February or early March, playing together with another band, doing like the northern part of Europe, Germany, Poland, maybe France, Belgium, Netherlands, and Scandinavia. England is rough now, or UK is rough nowadays after Brexit.
Yes.
It's you need the last time we toured in October with the Flower Kings, it was we ended up leaving all our equipment in Belgium and and play on rented equipment because it would cost us too much to get over to England with amps and drums and stuff. So that's what it's like doing it now. But it was worth it. It's always great to play in England. Fantastic audiences, and I love it there. So it was worth it. But we had to play on rented equipment.
That's unfortunate.
That's unfortunate. I don't know why they did this Brexit thing, but it's history now. It's what it is. You have to. It's just to deal with it.
And it's hit a lot of English bands pretty hard too, in terms of their ability to go to other places.
Yeah, I mean, it's for them it's even worse, you know, because we can choose not to play there if we want. But I mean, as soon as they leave England, there are lots of paperwork for them, lots of paperwork, as I've heard. So being a musician in England is not that fun at the moment. If I'm what do you say, correctly, yeah, I don't know who. This is what I've been told. I'm not sure it's true, but it's what I've heard.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. That's what I've heard too. It's tough times all around.
Yeah, somehow it is tough, but you have to hang in there and try to somehow make the best of it. And it's if it is, as you say, tough. And if you look at all the things that's happening at the moment, it's kind of depressing. But one can choose to just go down that path and just be depressed. I refuse. I try to be positive, and I think I'm. My normal me, I'm a kind of a positive guy, positive nature as I am. So I'm lucky that way, because I can imagine being young today, and you look at all the challenges and obstacles that's ahead. It might be depressing actually, but you have to. It's just to hang in there and do your best and do what you believe is right, I would say.
And actually, there are lyrics in your album that reflect that position. That kind of.
Yeah, there are.
Well, it has
right.
been such a pleasure to spend some time with you today. I greatly appreciate it. And the album is out on June 6th.
Yep. Next week on Thursday, and you can order it now on our Bandcamp, or I've heard rumors that you can get it Laser's Edge in the United States. I think you can get it from there in case you don't want it shipped all over the world, or from Europe, that is.
Right.
So no, it was great talking to you, Mark, and I hope you got something out of it at least.
Quite a bit. The album, by the way, is called Eternal Snapshots. Hasse Froberg, the namesake of Hasse Froberg and musical companion. I'm Mark Boardman, and for the latest in music news, reviews, and interviews, try us at sonicperspective.com.